Kollegen Patrick Wölke, der hat einen wunderbaren Titel, der heißt Media Innovation Lab. Da steht so ein bisschen dahinter, was passiert denn mit den Medien in den nächsten Jahren. Ich habe im Programm heute schon gelesen, dass Sie mich heute vielleicht das letzte Mal sehen, weil die Medien aussterben werden, also die Printmedien. Ich hoffe, dass wir da vielleicht doch noch zum anderen Ergebnis kommen. Zu meiner Rechten René Schuster, der nach einer weiten Reise durch Amerika, England, verschiedenste Stationen, 43 Länder, jetzt doch in München seine Heimat gefunden hat, Geschäftsführer bei O2, Telefonica O2 Germany ist. Ich möchte Sie nochmal darauf hinweisen, wir werden ab jetzt aufs Englische switchen. Das heißt, wenn Sie einen Kopfhörer benötigen für eine Simultanübersetzung, die sind draußen vorrätig. Und damit würden wir jetzt auch schon durchstarten. Let's start with the beginning. Mr. Schuster, I remember times when mobile communications was speech. Later on there came speech plus data, and now we're moving more and more in the direction of data. The network operators brought up more frequencies, more speed, and so on, but what's the advantage for the consumer? Where does he need a 50 Mbit line over the air?
So good question. We've come a long way as an industry, and I have to say all the things that we promised 10 years ago is finally coming true. So it's taken us 10 years. There were some great ideas that we all had, but it just really showed us how long did it take. Why is it now starting to take off, the mobile internet? I think there's three things that are happening. One is the price points in the network and in the handsets are finally at a place where the consumer is satisfied. I think the internet itself has taken off over the last 10 years and is now going to move from the fixed line into the mobile line. And I think you're going to see the frequencies and the speeds that we all thought were possible 10 years ago are finally being delivered now. So those three things coming together has really helped us. Where's the future? I think the future is wherever our imagination is. I think we are at the beginning of the smartphone revolution that's probably 18 months old. And where it's going to go in the next 3 to 5 years is going to be very exciting and very compelling. Right now, without a doubt, the market maker is Apple and Apple applications, and I'm sure you've got your Apple phone. Hopefully you'll buy one from O2 soon, but if you haven't. But applications are really going a long way, and if you think about it, do you remember just 2 years ago we used to say www.something? We don't say that anymore. We just push on an application window. So that's how fast the internet is changing. URLs are not even used anymore, because what I need to have to actually engage on the internet is a picture of something. That's one thing that's incredible. In the future, Android will be a mass market device, and I think there's some fantastic Android applications that will be available. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing that we're going to see is everything that you can do on the internet today, you can now do on the move. And I think you're going to see a whole bunch of new industries and capabilities being spawned in the future. And my colleague here on the left has got a very exciting business that now has got content that can be reached anywhere, anytime. And I think that that usability is going to be huge. And the last thing I'd probably say is I think you're going to see the industry verticalization of the mobile phone happen. Probably the first area will be in e-health, where a lot of people who have Alzheimer's disease can now be tracked. And I think that's going to be a very enjoyable experience to families that have got to deal with that. My father had that just recently before he passed away, and knowing where your loved ones are, I think is very important. And I think you're probably going to see the breakthrough in the coming years of telecommunications going more into financial services. I absolutely think there'll be some interesting dynamics that will be happening on payment systems and how we pay things. But I think those are the two industries that are the closest to changing.
But again, back to the speed. The apps don't need so much data transfer per second, but we're talking about 50 Mbit. So will there be a change with the carriers? And on the other hand, isn't it a struggle between more speed and less ARPU? Because if we discuss about 10 euros flat for speech and 10 euros flat for data, where are your business models for the future?
Yeah, so the monetization of data is what we're all trying to do. And today, some of us have been successful and some of us haven't. So that will be an ongoing issue and a threat. Why is the speed so important? I think it's going to be down to videos and video links will really be driving the speeds. So if you see the gaming industry will move from Xbox and Sony PlayStations from the physical world to the cloud. And I think cloud computing will require the fast speeds for the user experience. The other thing is, again, media. If you look at movies, if you look at concerts, if you look at real-time video streaming, you need at least 50 megahertz. And I think in the future, I won't predict the death of a movie theater, but I think in the future, releases of movies will be real-time, where from Hollywood you can actually video stream directly across international high-speed data links to have the latest experience. I also think the way that we will have surveillance, the way that you will look at your own property, the way you will try to find other people through video streaming, I think will be the future as well. And this is where the speeds really happen. Today, you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people are happy with their experience, but it's really, where is this going to go? And that's where we have to prepare ourselves.
So we are in the middle of the content right now, but who sends the bill for the content? Boda also announced huge investments in new media, mobile communications, applications, and so on. And Mr. Schuster said, okay, we need the speed for the content, but who earns the money from the customer?
So, first of all, thank you very much for underlining that we are believing in mobile and believe that this is a very big opportunity for all of the big publishing houses worldwide. And I truly believe that people will pay for content. They used to pay for content in the past. They pay for content. Most of that is still traditional content in newspapers and magazines, etc., and not online. Yeah? But I truly believe that when we develop the right products, when we really are the best ones who tell the best stories, that true what Mr. Döpfner always calls branded content. I personally like to add that packaged content is the important thing to make sure that people pay for it. People will pay for it to be entertained. Let me describe very quickly what I mean with packaged content. The big difference between the consumption of a traditional magazine or a traditional newspaper we have today and the online brands of the same newspaper and the same magazines today in the fixed line world is that for the magazine you really have a defined beginning and you have a defined end. So when you like a certain newspaper, when you like a certain magazine like Bunte or Bild or Stern or whatever, you believe in people that put together whatever you are interested in on. Yeah, and you can go through it and you know for this week or for this day or for this month, whatever the circulation rhythm is, you have enjoyed the content these persons believe you are interested in. Online and also the Bild.de, Bunte.de, Focus.de, whatever, is an endless story where you can go through and click through, but you will never come to an end. This is an advantage from one point of view, and also a disadvantage, what really people are not willing to pay for today. And I truly believe that when we think about how should the best possible tablet, PC, iPad, whatever content package look like, it should be closer to what today the traditional magazine is than closer to what today the fixed line online experience is. Because if you want to enjoy that, you can just open your Safari browser or whatever browser on other tablets product that will come up in the future. Yeah, but you have not learned that this is value you have to pay for. So to summarize to your question, I truly believe that people will pay for good content, and even if I'm not the expert in that, I truly believe that people will also have to pay for the routes where this content is coming through. So
Okay.
the answer is both.
Okay, and I even have two people besides me who can deliver content. You can deliver content, he can deliver content, but who makes the money at the end? We've been talking about the bid pipe for years, and I said, okay, the network operators will provide the bid pipe, but won't earn any money with that. But you have to have an answer.
Yeah, and luckily I don't need an answer right now because the business is working quite well. It's all about the future. At the end of the day, we probably won't offer content as my colleague over here does. In other words, generate ourselves, but I could offer other people's content. And what will be very important for us is actually the customer experience. I think in the future, companies like us will be probably less of a telecommunications company and more of a digital company. And I think a customer doesn't really care what kind of technology he or she uses to get that content. And it should be up to us to use whatever technology we have at our disposal to get the customer the experience that he or she wants. At the end of the day, customers have to have choice. I think you make a huge mistake if you start to predict what you think your customer wants for you. Therefore, it's very important to work with companies like my colleagues and other companies. I think as the market matures, we will find areas where we will create some content that would make sense. And again, I would come back to where we wouldn't become a gaming industry or a gaming content, but what we would do is we would maybe select or recommend what are the best gaming experiences available for our customers. The whole concept of entertainment and having an emotional experience is something that's very important to us. And having our customer have the ability to record an emotional experience and share it with their individuals is, from a digital point of view, where we'll drive the company, and we will offer our customers that emotional experience in different areas. I mentioned the other things, e-health, finance. There's an awful lot of software and intelligence that sits in our network that we can open up to our customers that they can use it. This is a different form of content as opposed to the content my colleague enjoys doing with his company. So I think there's huge opportunity for everybody. This isn't, somebody wins and somebody loses. I think this is a whole bunch of people winning, and timing is everything. Some of these ideas have been around for a long, long time. Why is it working now?
Okay, so we heard what the vision of Mr. Schuster is. Is it close to your vision? Have you got the same vision, or will yours be a little bit different? What are the opportunities you see in your business?
Even if this may already sound like too much harmony, it's really very close, because to bring it to the point, we are talking about two different kinds of content. Of course, network operators will and have to provide some emotional context to their pure data or whatever connectivity. And on the other hand, I'm pretty sure that you will not start big editorial teams that sits there and program and edit edited content and come up with a kind of weekly magazine or whatever. At least this will not be a big business. Also, on the other hand, if there may be the question in the room, if Hubert Burda Media, and I feel quite comfortable also to talk for the whole publishing industry in Germany, at least at this point, plan to build up own network operating systems. No plans. I mean, we really focus on establishing our second revenue stream. So the first revenue stream, advertising, works well. What we have to make sure, and what we really have to be very precise about, is that people will have to pay for premium content on tablet, PCs, iPad, etc. Right now there is a lot of experimenting around it, so we are trying different kind of monetization models at this point. Advertising financed, subscription financed, and mixed models, of course, as well. But on the long end, I truly believe that for good content, for branded content, for packaged content, people will have to pay, and they will pay for it. Just to give you one example, why I feel quite comfortable in that, and that I'm not only optimistic to be optimistic at this point. Even if the iPad is the very first stage of something that will come up and maybe compared to the very first mobiles that used to look very different than the mobiles we do have today and carry with us, it already has something that is somehow very different from fixed line online, that is very emotional, nearly a bit of erotic feeling to touch the hardware and to go through it. I talked to a person who is not really, or let's put it this way, to be very frank and open here, who is the opposite of an online enthusiast. Whenever I talk to this person, I had to convince that online is something good and that you already also can enjoy bunte or whatever contents online, but I really was not able to convince this person for months and years. With the iPad, it is very different. It is very different. There is a big attention on it, and the big difference between not using the iPad and the tablet when you are on the run, we see it very few times in buses or on the street or whatever, but use it really in a comfortable lean-back situation at home, really makes a big difference. And people who are not the digital experts right now start to like it, start to enjoy it, and start to see the value of it. Do I think that this change will happen overnight? No. I truly believe that maybe we sit here all together within 1 year time and have a situation that is slightly different from the situation today, but not totally different. But I truly believe that this is a fantastic time to experiment and to have to experiment very thoughtful, and that it will be the future on the long end.
But what I see, we've been, as editors, we've been discussing the opportunities of the web since years, and I didn't get so much people who earned a lot of money, who said, okay, we're going to invest in web 1.0, 2.0, now we've got the mobile web, but won't that erase more and more the readership? Won't they move to the mobile web, to the open web? And how can you put them to the, for example, bunte? Will it be?
So you mean what the marketing channels?
What's the way to make it better than the open internet?
So I mean, this goes pretty much back to what I tried to describe earlier. I think that the big difference is that we should not, what we all may have done in the world of the fixed line internet, try to do everything that the hardware device or the connectivity or whatever is able to deliver. So one other interesting example, only because of the fact that you can do fancy design and fancy navigation on tablet PCs, does not tell us any, does not give us any rationale why we should do it. One of the, for me, most surprising results of a study we did recently in the US, where it's already, where people are already like 8 to 12 months ahead of ours, is that they said they like the apps that we did with our partner there very much, but what they missed was the pages, the numbers of the pages that should be given within the application in the e-reader experience. So they compared it to the magazine world. So the difference is, don't try to bring to the iPad or to other tablet PCs what you offer today for free online, but try to offer something that today, and also in the close future, is quite close to what people are willing to pay, what is close to the magazine experience, added with some additional features, added with some features like zooming, for example, is something that we found out is something that people like a lot. Add some pieces of content like audio and video, maybe change the actualization frequency, because this is something that people obviously enjoy, especially in news-oriented environments. But don't try to do whatever you do online. Do what you do in print and add whatever, very, very carefully, whatever in a certain situation makes sense. So this is, if you ask me for a kind of recipe, this is the approach that I feel very comfortable with. And then, of course, over time, you will have to learn and to add other things once people feel familiar and comfortable with it, but not at the beginning. Make it as easy as possible and make it as close as possible to what people pay for today, even if hardware devices and also connectivity is able to do much more already today.
Okay, but if I decide to install the Bunte app, I call it Bunte app. I'm not sure whether it's precisely the name of it. So if I download it and I give the Bunte magazine €5 for that, and you give me the bits.
And I give you the what?
You give me the bits. You give me the data.
I'll give you the data.
You give me the data that I can read his magazine online. So that's also a way besides your business model. It's not your business model, pure data. So you've been talking about e-health, for example.
That's right.
We've been talking about music years ago. So do you think it's coming right now?
I think music will continue to be a wonderful emotional experience for our customers, and I think you can see just how important music is today with iTunes and how it's completely changed the entire recording industry. I mean, if we would have sat here 8 years ago and talked about the eventual demise of the music industry, I think we'd all just say, don't be ridiculous. But you can see the power of the internet, and the way artists record today and the future will never be the same. That will continue and that will mature. On the same theme, we've been having cameras in mobile phones for a long time, but you can see there's a whole generation now that are very happy with just having a camera in your mobile phone. 8 years ago, we still wanted to have a separate device. So you can see how things are kind of coming together. Yes, it's taking a lot longer than we all thought it would. We all thought it would take off a lot more, and we built business plans that kind of said that, but it really didn't happen. But it is starting to come now. Without a doubt, through Facebook and through where the internet technologies are going to go, if you think about it, it is really silly to have a mobile phone number. It's really silly to have a mobile phone number and to remember one. It should just be a picture of you, a picture of me, and if you want to call somebody, you just hit the picture. And what we've already seen today from Apple is, if you look at the applications, it's all about hitting an application and engaging in an emotional experience. I think in the future, most phone calls will be made when you kind of click on a picture. That is new technology and new data technology that we have got to change in our networks, where we're working very, very closely, again, with the content providers, with the Facebook's providers, on how do you actually make that happen, and how can we have an enjoyable user experience. I think you're going to see that happening a lot more in the future as well.
Can I maybe add one aspect to that, because I see another very interesting opportunity coming up right now for us to work together, because as soon as we really are able to sell branded content, to sell packaged content on hardware devices where it really makes sense to enjoy them, I truly think that joint marketing or also distribution activities between mobile operators, content providers, and maybe even hardware providers is something that we should look at. Because a package where you have a subscription for a price plan that provides you data and that provides you great content is something from a consumer point of view, of course, that makes it as easy as possible. So I don't see a competition, because I don't want to enter in your core business. You want to have something emotional, but not really do the same thing what we are doing today. But I truly think from a consumer point of view, there may be situations where it makes sense to get both items from the same source with only one contract and one signature. So this is an interesting thing.
So it's a blending of industries. I think the blending of industries is a very important part because to me it all looks a bit similar. And can you imagine what our consumers might think? So when you talk about health and how you access data, when you start talking about banking and access your banking information, when you start talking about software and accessing software, when you talk about games, accessing games, when you start talking about making a phone call, all this is data. So I think what we're seeing is just a phenomenal period in mankind's history where you've got industries that were really easily defined 20 years ago, all starting to kind of come together a little bit. And to be truthful, for those people that are opportunistic, there are threats and opportunities. The threats are revenue numbers that used to belong to me now belong to other people as well. And their revenue numbers are now under attack. And I think the hardest thing for all of you is for somebody to say, and this is the way it's going to be in the future. And the answer is no one can say that. But we can acknowledge the industries coming together. There will be threats and there will be opportunities. And I think it's down to us as business people, as entrepreneurs, as people from universities, from students, to come up with opportunities and solutions that we can all maximize and capitalize. And I think that's the exciting bit that's out there.
Can you explain a little bit about the possibilities of mobile advertising? That's even a big point in the business.
I think it's a great question, and I don't think we've cracked it as an industry. I think mobile advertising is already there in most markets, but I don't really think you've seen it take off like you do in the physical internet. And I think there's a piece that's missing that we haven't figured out yet as an industry, and that is what's in it for the customer. And it's something that we need to really crack. There's a lot of value that's given to customers on the fixed internet. There's a lot of people who I've spoken to that says, gosh, we probably have given away too much for free. It'd be really nice if we kind of monetize things. There's other people that said, well, the internet wouldn't have taken off if it wasn't for free anyways. So, it's a rich debate that we can have. I can tell you 3-4 years ago, big fan of Google, and I remember being amazed when my Google colleague from the US said, we don't have any customers. And I went, of course you do. He says, no, we have no customers because we're a search engine. And today you're hearing Google talk about customers. It's about monetization of a place where you can do business and how you can capitalize on that. And I think what we mustn't make a mistake of is as the mobile internet is starting to take off, we need to find a equilibrium of how do you monetize it, because the investments are huge in CapEx and technology, and then how do you get a fair return on investment? And until we figure that out, that will be a building block to keep it from accelerating to the place that we all want it to.
Can you give us an impression of an application combined with a mobile ad? What could be typical, for example?
I think what you'll see is a lot more location-based activities. So we all have lots of information on our customers, but we go up against data protection and data protection acts. And I think the US is really pushing data protection to the upper limits that probably wouldn't happen in this country, especially in Germany. And I think we owe it to our customers to protect their integrity and their data. If we can figure out how to do that, the experiences of actually being able to provide our customer with data and information or an experience based on where you are, I think is incredible. And from a marketing point of view and a branding point of view, I think it will change everything. However, what we haven't cracked is the promise to say that nothing will go wrong. And I think that's something the industry has to work out with other industries to ensure that integrity never happens. Otherwise, customers won't go for it.
But isn't it a struggle for the advertiser at the end even? Because you have services like that too with your magazines. You inform about restaurants or where to go, where to be, where to buy, fashion and so on. So isn't it a competition for the advertiser?
I'm not sure if I got that question. So if the competition is that your advertising may look like our editorial content?
For example?
No, I think there is a
Or
difference.
if you have just one budget, if I'm Adidas or Puma or something like that, and say, okay, I better invest in O2 than in Burda Media.
I mean, of course, if there is a new advertising market built up successfully, it will somehow get a piece of the share or percentage of the share that people spend for advertising.
Blending of industries.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but I mean, seriously, yeah. Even if I feel very comfortable with what online and also print makes today in advertising revenues, this kind of services, yeah, and these kind of advertisings we are talking about, yeah, all the research we have right now says that most of it comes out of TV. There are big FMCG companies I'm talking to that have people that do nothing else than trying to find good reasons to get most money out of the TV budget to spend it in the digital work in a reasonable way. And I truly believe these exciting elements my colleague just talked about is something that are in our own best interest to make sure that these devices are really something that people feel comfortable with and that it gets a relevancy. Yeah? I mean, we are talking about a very small portion from a big cake, so I absolutely feel comfortable with that. And to add the second element to it, I also think that there will always be, even in a world where I truly believe advertising has to provide a kind of service, or a kind of value to the customer instead of just pushing out the message. Even in that situation, there is a difference between editorial content and these kind of messages, even if it's service orientation and maybe emotional as well at the same time. But it is something different.
Just one step back, interesting question for me would be, we've been talking about the iPad a lot. It makes sense because of the screen size, but there are even more Android phones or iPhones in the world than the iPads. So do you provide even there other content for the iPhone? Is there even another market for the iPhone than for the iPad, or do you just bring it down from the big screen to the small screen?
So today the iPhone, but also Android and the other operating systems we always forget to talk about, these kind of experiences are much closer to what I described as a stationary online experience so far. I truly believe that we are talking about a new generation of tablet PCs that will have a different kind of using situation and thought from a consumer point of view. I also truly believe that there will be a different content offering where I gave you some indication where I think this content offering will sit for the next months and maybe 2-3 years. But long time, we really have to crack the formula how it will exactly look like, because I don't know today. The only thing we have to make sure is that on the one hand side, we always think from the consumer point of view. On the other hand side, even if this may sound a bit silly right now, we don't have to believe too much in market research. If you would have done, I mentioned it earlier, market research 25 years ago, how much people are willing to pay for a message that you can, with a maximum size of 160 letters, from your mobile, pushing numbers 1 to 0 several times, I guess the result would have been 0. Nobody would do it, nobody would pay for it, but this kind of short messaging is, I believe, still a pretty healthy business. Yep. So I think the true challenge is behind what we always hear, how to find the right way between don't think hardware-oriented but consumer-oriented, but don't believe too much in what people don't even know about, because they don't know what they want to have in the future. If they would know, I would like to hire them, because this is what we are also experimenting on right now. But again, I truly think that even if we both talk about advertising, it is something different. The same, also the content is different.
So do you follow all the streams, all the hardware developments, or do you concentrate more on Android, more on Windows Phone, more on the iPhone?
That's a good question, and the answer is all of them. Again, many technology companies go wrong when you start choosing customers' technology preference. What you have to do is offer them all, and hopefully understand what the market potential is going forward. So we offer all those phones. Our competitors offer all those phones as well. And I think what you'll see as a differentiator is more on how fast can you actually give your customer what he or she wants. So I mean speed, not in network speed, but in ability to serve. And I think that's a huge differentiator. And all of us are trying to improve how fast we can do things. And I think the other thing is a customer experience. At the end of the day, if a customer is upset with you, that's an emotional experience. If you do not turn that anger or upsetness into a quality response, it could be the difference between winning and losing. And that's why customer experiences are so important, and so important for us to differentiate, because if you can do that successfully, we all know the best salesperson in the world is word of mouth. And I know, I hear it from my family, my wife, my children, my mother. If they have a customer experience that's not good enough, it's the first thing that they tell me about. And that will keep you from buying our products and services. And that's why we're spending an awful lot of time to making sure that A, we do the right thing in the market, but B, when we have engagement with a customer, it's all about really doing the right thing. And we have a lot to learn.
So I just want to give a chance to the audience to ask some questions. So just one last from my side. If you have a look at the crystal ball, where will mobile communications be 5 years from now? I see it's one of the fastest markets I've ever seen.
It's very fast.
And what would you think, what will we discuss in 5 years?
So really good, and if I get this right, I think I might be a billionaire. Unfortunately, I'm not. I think this is probably the best question. And there's a point that I actually say nobody can see more than 3 years. I think if anyone tries to predict more than 3 years, I think you're a very special person. 5 years would be a complete guess. But I do see the smartphone revolution probably going into another phase. I think you'll see much more blending of industries coming even closer together. If you think about what's happened in our society with the banking crisis, how many people trust banks today? I think they have a huge reputation issue that they need to improve on. And I think you're going to see new entrants in the financial area. I don't mean investment, I mean payment areas. I see that finally taking off. Why do we have a credit card? Credit card's really simple. It's there because it provides a service, but I think all the billing relationships that we already have with customers and the way that you can actually start buying things with your mobile phone, I think you're going to see that really taking off maybe in those 5 years period. And I would see anything that you can have from a digital point of view, whether it's security, whether it's e-health, whether it's, again, music, entertainment, media. I think you're going to see the continuing blending of the industries where we will find more partnerships happening. I also think in the next 5 years, you'll see competitors working closer together, including my competitors here in Germany. It makes no sense to continually to do things on your own. We have over 80,000 base stations in Germany. We do not need any more base stations in Germany for new technology that rolls out. We need to work together from a cooperation point of view. And we need to start thinking more as one country that provides one bit of infrastructure for our customers. And I think the future will drive that change. And that will be huge behavioral changes for the telecommunications industry.
Okay, so we're waiting for the point being billionaire. something.
One day, huh?
I hope somebody
What would I
wrote
do?
down what you said, so we control that later. And one more question for Mr. Wölke. Will there be any printed material in
Yeah,
5 years from now, in 10 years from now?
First of all, I would like to join the Billionaires Club. Yeah, absolutely. So I truly believe that people will, within a 5 years' time, still pay for branded and packaged high-quality content. A higher percentage than today of that will go into digital, but magazines and print products, newspapers, etc., will still have a huge share of what people are willing to pay for. Yeah, these kinds of changes always happen slower than we all expect. We are all not representatives of the overall population in Germany or Europe or worldwide. I would guess that most of you do have an iPhone, maybe most of you already have an iPad, etc., but this is not really representative, so definitely yes. And also in 5 years' time, what I would wish, where we would be, is that we will come to a point where there is one certain percentage of standardization when it comes to hardware devices. Today there is standardization of tablet PCs because there is pretty much only the iPad available today or relevant today. Yeah, for next year, I just learned today that we all expect around 300 different devices coming to the market worldwide that are similar what today the iPad is. In 5 years' time, I would wish, and I think it would make sense for the consumer, that we would have some kind of standardization regarding operating system, regarding resolution, regarding size, etc., because from a content provider's point of view, to provide everything in 300 different ways with the same emotional, high-quality feeling is something that would not be efficient for everybody. So I think there will be some kind of standardization, even obviously if I don't look for a monopoly, but 3, 4, 5 kinds of standards.
Thank you very much. So, jetzt haben wir noch 12 Minuten, glaube ich, in etwa Zeit für Fragen, und ich glaube, wir würden uns freuen, wenn wir welche beantworten dürften.
Hi, I have a question. My name is Martin Sperling from Auger Systems. We are a billing service provider for the telecommunication companies. And I would like to refer to what Mr. Wölke said regarding the packaged content, and as well as what you said, Mr. Schuster, regarding the importance of billing in the future. So what I've understood is that the packaged content means it's quite similar from the customer experience to what he had before the mobile world. So like Ubuntu, you said, he bought that in a shop and has this experience. I think what you are lagging behind from the media companies is the billing experience, because content it's quite good. In the iPhone, it's quite similar to what you have with a real magazine. But I've never seen a payment experience in the real world, so going into a shop, paying €5 for Ubuntu or whatever, and leave the shop without giving my name, without having login or something like this, just paying the €5. I've never seen this in a media world or in a content-oriented world. It's different to the mobile to the operators, because it's easy. It's completely automatically. You just make the call and you do not have to log in somewhere. I think this is really critical for the media companies to have these innovations in billing experience. So I would like to know if you have thought about solution for that to make the customer an easier payment or to provide an easier payment process to the customer. Thanks.
Thank you for that question. It's a great question. I asked my colleague if he didn't mind me going first, because I can answer the billing thing, because there's reasons why. And I just want to share those with you and then hand over to my colleague. First of all, telecommunications companies, if they want to do larger transactions than, I don't know if I have the right number, but let's say, for example, €30, we need to have a license, a financial services license. Some companies have it. I know we have it in Spain, for instance. So in order for us to do more transactions, we need to have a financial services license. The European Union is going to relax those laws next year. So a lot more companies can actually do online billing and do mobile payments and so forth. So I think it's going to be a part of the industry that's going to explode. And then I don't know if my colleague has plans to do that, but clearly we would be interested, and I know my competition would be interested in breaking this down and getting better at it. And I think it's an opportunity.
I mean, the short answer to your question is you are right. We are not expert in that field of what you described as billing. And I truly believe that one of the success factors of the future really for the publishing houses is to focus on their core competencies. And I don't see billing in particular as one of the corporate competencies of publishing houses. I'm sure we will work together with different partners and different methods short-term to try and experiment with different items. But do we plan to build up a sophisticated billing process mechanism to get a financial license or something like that? No. No, this is really not focused. Of course, I would like to add one aspect to that. Of course, we are interested in different situations to get access to the data, especially when it comes to subscription, so that we can work with the data for CRM activities, etc. But this will be a partnering for publishing houses.
If I can add two sentences in the moment, it's quite easy if you download an app from the different markets, and I think it could be quite as easy to download a magazine, and all you have to do is download it right now, and the misusage is normally covered by the App Store itself. So you don't have to give in your password, your contact data, and so on. In this case, I know it, for example, with the Android phones, it's PayPal in behind, as far as I know. So it's a Google checkout. Google sends you the mail. You have bought a Bunte magazine, and you get the bill by PayPal.
I mean, honestly, my spontaneous feeling is that I would prefer much more working together with my colleague here on the stage when it comes to billing than with Apple or some of these guys, because this is not only a billing process we talk about when it comes to what should be handled by Apple or other hardware providers. They want to control much more and already control much more today. And my feeling is that a billing relationship between both of us could be managed without you telling me what kind of content I'm allowed to show and not allowed to show. So
because the others will tell you.
Yes, they already tell me today.
Yeah.
They already tell me today.
Yeah. Good question.
Haben wir noch weitere Fragen?
Thomas Nindl, Qualcomm, Germany. Question for Mr. Wölke. How do you see the e-reader market? I don't emphasize e-book, just e-reader market in Germany. Is Germany ready for e-readers, or will Germany skip that market side? Is it relevant for you as a publishing house, or do you see less chances for it? Thank you.
So, for me, as a representative of a publishing house, I have to underline that at the end of the day, the kind of the hardware device, also the technical possibilities, is it a browser experience, is it an app experience, is it a reader experience, is not really the relevant one. However, I truly believe that e-readers, like I understand them today, are not able to transfer the same emotion than the first tablet PCs we already see. So I think the big difference between we have to capture between the traditional magazine market we have today and the experience you have on a stationary PC is really this emotional piece. And so maybe I'm not as firm as you in what kinds of e-readers we have today already available, but what I saw is not able to transfer this real emotion in the best possible way that I would expect. And this is everything. This is how you touch it. This is already also sound, how you skip from one page to the other. This is resolution of the screen. This is color of the screen. This is how you can integrate audio and video elements in it. And all these kind of things are not the ones that make me, from a magazine-oriented publishing house, I have to add. So we are not focused on newspapers, we are focused on magazines. Very optimistic when it comes to e-readers. I think in one point of the future, they will merge with the tablet PCs altogether, and we will have any, maybe in 2-3 years, two kinds of categories anymore. And there will not be a difference from a terminology talking about tablet PCs, e-readers, and maybe some other items.
My name is Elias Völker from Götz Partners. I have a question. Where do you see, to both, where do you see the position of a publishing house and the position of a mobile operator in the moving together of the three screens, so PC, TV, and the mobile device? So where's the position for a publishing house there, and where's the position for a mobile operator?
Who's going to start?
So, see if I understand the question, forgive me, but you mean the PC and the mobile device coming together, and then how are we going to position ourselves, or?
PC, the mobile, and also the TV moving closer together
okay.
in terms of, for example, IPTV, web content on TV.
I think that's a very interesting question, because I can talk to you about what's happening in the physical world on how they are blending together. First of all, you're finding every single PC manufacturing trying to rush and design a tablet, right? Because we all know that the PCs have now been over-designed, and actually the tablets are a very interesting value proposition, so those PC companies are rushing to do the same. And this is what I mean by these industries coming together. The TV industry, I don't know if you've noticed, but every single TV that's now sold certainly in Asia, but it's now coming in Germany, is they all have internet access. So basically, we all know that a lot of internet companies who have this great following are going to turn themselves into TV stations, right? We know that Google TV is coming. I don't know if you all know, but I'm sure you know this, forgive me, but YouTube, right, which downloads 1 billion videos a day, is owned by Google, right? That's not by accident, right? So you know Google TV is coming, you know Apple TV is coming, you know Microsoft TV is coming, a whole bunch of companies I haven't even heard before. Facebook TV is coming as well. And they're not going to use terrestrial TV signals, they're going to use the internet. So you're going to see TV sets that will have dual capabilities, and who knows, maybe even other capabilities, but that's happening right now as we speak. So you can actually go buy an internet-ready TV here at MHS anytime you want. How does it all get kind of blended together? I think you come back to the portal, to the internet, where I think you'll see advantages where content will be designed once. Forgive me, this is more your area, but I can see content being designed once for one technology platform that can be accessed by multiple devices. And I think this is the interesting thing that's going to happen by the Internet 2.0 revolution that we're in.
I mean, you pretty much described what I also truly believe in. So whatever the relevant platforms for consumption of media will be in the future, we will roll our contents out to. Yeah, so if there is a TV set, if there are topic apps on TV, or maybe magazine similar experiences on TV is something relevant, we definitely will take our content and serve this customer need. Yeah, I mean, the interesting question is, will there be again a new user situation that will somehow give us the opportunity to provide something different than we have today online, something different that we have today in print, something different that we are developing right now for tablet PCs, maybe. But honestly, it is a very early stage, and whatever the consumers will ask for, we will deliver it. The only aspect I would like to add here is I talked a lot about my belief is that tablet PC magazine experiences should be close to print. I don't talk about a clone, I don't talk about a copy. Yeah, there will be differences for sure. I just want because it's only possible to put a certain kind of messages in the room, make sure that when you talk to your neighbor later and say, hey, what was it about, that this is one of the core messages, but it's not a clone. And maybe when TV and PC comes closer together in the future, there again will not be a clone of something that we have today, but something that will be somehow modified. Yeah? From our internal processes, the creation of the content itself doesn't matter if it's the magazine or online or the tablet PC or maybe the joint TV tablet PC experience is something that comes from one and the same editorial team. Yeah, the processes, some are focused on one platform more than on another platform because the amount of content you need for online, for example, is different compared to the amount of content you need for the print magazine that comes out once a month. But at the end of the day, it's one team. And somehow we will need to adjust processes to make sure that we'll be able to deliver to a maybe future TV experience as well. Does it answer your question?
Well, it answers the question for the publishing house, but I haven't an answer on where's the role of the mobile operator in the whole thing.
That's what you described.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was a real simple question. Yes. I do it today, and I've got 68,000 customers. Not only IPTV, but OTT services as well. Sorry, I misunderstood your question, but absolutely. Yeah. One of the things that I just found fascinating in the U.S. is in the fixed world, there's a technical term called latency, which basically means you cannot have a real-time experience. There are new mathematical permutations that have been created at universities that latency has been cured up to 1,000 kilometers. So basically, if you have a super station, call it what you want, supercomputer, every 1,000 kilometers, and link it together over a wide range of distance, you have no latency. So in the future, you can actually have a gaming experience where you're playing somebody a game in Southern California and you could be in Munich. And the real-time experience will be as real-time as it is. All those services and those algorithms will come from me. So quite exciting. And you'd be surprised how many people actually do this. I always say, I'm 48 years old and I'm way past it. I'm way too old. But it is just amazing how many people play online today. I think the number I saw a couple of weeks ago is something like 220 million people every single hour are doing online gaming against each other.
And they pay for it.
And they pay for it. That should be up to 1 billion by the end of this year.
Ja, und Sie zahlen dafür, das würde ich jetzt gerne als Schlusswort auch nehmen. Herzlichen Dank, Herr Wölke, herzlichen Dank, Herr Schuster, für das wirklich spannende Gespräch. Ich glaube, abschließend kann man das einfach nicht klären in einer Stunde. Wir können alle nicht in die Kristallkugel gucken, aber wir werden es, so Gott will, auch erleben. Wenn Sie gerne noch so ein paar Einblicke mehr hätten in praktische Anwendungen, was man mit Applikationen und so weiter alles machen kann, dann würde ich Sie herzlich einladen, um 14 Uhr wieder hier zu sein. Das Panel heißt Mobile Rich Media. Ich kann Ihnen jetzt schon spannende Vorträge versprechen und ich denke auch, dass ich Ihnen ein angenehmes Mittagessen versprechen kann. Würde mich freuen, Sie wiederzusehen. Vielen Dank.
Danke. Gute Morgen.